gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome aboard the amphibious duck, New Caledonia. My name is Bergen. I'll be your tour guide and pilot for this next 8.5-mile journey, half on land, half on water, and if you're lucky, maybe even a little in the air. Now today's tour consists of 3 parts. 1 part Wisconsin Dells history, 1 part Native American legend, and a little something I like to call food for thought. That's right, folks, a little grade A baloney, but I had to decide which is which and what is what. Today's tour are these hand-carved granite statues you see on either side of the duck. Now these statues once sat atop the Chicago Board of Trade building until 1932, when it was redecorated by a stick of dynamite. They were then brought here by Miss Helen Robb to decorate the grounds of her home, Dawn Manor. Now please keep Dawn Manor and Miss Helen Robb in the back of your mind, as we will be talking about them later on in today's tour. New Caledonia was built back in 1942 by GM in Pontiac, Michigan, at a cost of $10,000 for the use in World War II and later parts of the Korean conflict. Her main purpose was to carry troops and supplies to shore. Now she's 8 feet 2 inches wide, 9 feet tall, 32 feet long, and weighs in any slim yet slender 7.5 tons. Now she's capable of 45 miles an hour on land, 6 to 8 knots on water, and just the other day, I got her going over 200 miles an hour off the edge of this cliff. Slow down to get you all a better look. Now on the rare chance we're not going to see any wildlife, I'll just hand the microphone to the person sitting directly behind me, and they can tell you all about their wildlife. Are entering the most dangerous part of today's tour, known as the S-curve. Descended into the beautiful fern dell. Now fern dell is home to many different types of ferns, including the green fern, the red fern, the orange fern, the blue fern, the yellow fern, the walking fern, the talking fern, the repeating fern, the repeating fern, the repeating fern, the interrupting fern, and my personal favorite on the left, the invisible fern. Now you may have noticed a slight drop of temperature down here in Fern Dell, and that is for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 being the lush canopies of trees above us blocking out most of the sunlight. And reason number 2 are the rock cliffs you see on either side of the duck, locking in moisture, acting as a natural air conditioner. Now at any point, Fern Dell can be 10 to 12 degrees cooler than the rest of the dells, which I guess makes you guys some of the coolest people in the dells. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Pacific Ocean. A lot smaller in person, isn't it? Now I am only kidding, but it can get a little bumpy going in the river today. So with that left hand, grab that seat in front of you. And with your right hand, plug your nose. Which produce an acid called tannic acid, which gives river its brown color. Now you may be thinking, tannic acid, that sounds dangerous. Well, it's actually not harmful to us at all. It's actually found in many common items you consume on a daily basis, including tea, coffee, and Coca-Cola. We are now going to be taking a look at the first rock formation on the river today. So if you take a look out the left of the duck, that creature was quite the long-winded creature, and pretty soon those Native Americans grew bored and fell asleep. Now this did not make the preacher very happy, so he went to town to get something to spice up his sermons a little bit, and he came back with a baby grand piano. Now he used that baby grand piano in his next sermon, but just like clockwork, those Native Americans fell asleep again. Now this made the preacher furious, so he began jumping up and down on Pulpit Rock, splitting it right in half, knocking that baby grand piano off the right side of the rock. And if you look closely, you can still see it there to this day. Legs propped against the rock and keys facing the heavens. Does everyone see it on the right side? Now, did anyone believe my... What is known as Hawk's Beat. Now, if you could use your imagination a little bit and imagine that the uppermost pointed rock is the Hawk's upper beak. That lower curved rock is the Hawk's lower beak. And that slit in the top rock is the Hawk's eye. And that big slab of rock sticking straight out at us is the Hawk's wing and shoulder as it soars across the Wisconsin River. Now, I did mention this is the most famous rock formation, as it was featured in Life magazine back in 1962. Causing artificial Lake Delton, which is just on the other side of the highway over there, to rise 51.5 inches. Now that water needed to go somewhere, so it found the weakest point in the lake, which just so happened to be right over here, broke through and emptied all 267 acres of Lake Delton into the Wisconsin River in just about 2.5 hours, taking along with it 4 vacation homes. Now, after all was said and done, the damages cost the city of Lake Delton about $3.6 million, and it took about 3 months to reconstruct the hill and highway to the right. Now, just to give you an idea of how high the river got with the addition of Lake Delton, if you take a look off to the left where the sand meets the tree line, that's how high the river got that day. Found out about their little scheme, so he packed up operations, moved about 2 miles upstream to the city of Kilbourne. Now once that happened, everyone left Newport, making it a ghost town virtually overnight. Now you may be thinking, well, if it's a ghost town, then where are all the buildings? Well, it turns out it was actually a blessing in disguise, because in the early 1900s, there was a wildfire that swept through the area, taking out the whole town of Newport, except for one building, Dawn Manor, which we will be taking a look at later on in today's tour. was actually not the case, but just as an extra precaution, the city of Lake Delton added an extra 80-foot spillway to keep anything like that from ever happening. So now would be the perfect opportunity for you folks to take out your cameras and take all. That. Alright, now just a fair warning, there will be a mist coming over the front of the duct, getting myself and maybe the first few rows wet. But that is nothing compared to the 8-foot tidal wave coming up across the back. So if you have anything on the ground you don't want to get wet, I would pick that up now and hold on tight. Alright, here we go. Away into the river down below. Now I was so lucky that when the breach happened, it just narrowly missed my summer home. Right there on the left. Including white-tailed deer, rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, chimpanzees, monkeys, lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! Now if you do happen to see any lions or bears on the tour today, shout it out to me and I will do my best to swerve and run them right over. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Bergen, why would you want to hit such a majestic creature? Well, here's the original Wisconsin Ducks. We are all die-hard Green Bay Packer fans. Woo! But now I don't think we're going to see any lions or bears on the tour today, because earlier this morning I came around the area and painted a white goal line. Now we all know no lions or bears could cross one of those. Some help here. Is it a right or a left?
Right.
Right? Left? Are you sure it's not right? Alright, I guess I'll go left. Now I am only kidding, but as you can see, that 50-foot drop to the right is no joke. But don't worry, here at the original Wisconsin Ducks, we are all about your guys' safety. This morning, I personally installed the steel mesh barricade you can see to the right. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Bergen, that's just chicken wire. That's not going to hold back anything. Well, Hank at the hardware store assured me, if it can hold back a chicken, it'll most certainly hold back a duck. Now off to the left here we have the Lake of the Dells, built back in 1943 for one reason, and one reason only, to breed the Wisconsin summer state bird, the mosquito. This is the most beautiful part of today's tour. So I'll do you all a favor, turn my microphone off and let nature do all the talking. Bird Gorge is 8 feet 6 inches wide. Now that leaves me about 4 inches of room to work with. Now if you think this is scary, just wait till we go across that bridge. And his name was Chief Gorge. Now Chief Gorge had a son named Boy Gorge, and Boy Gorge had a monkey named Curious Gorge, and they had a lot of fun last summer cooking on their Gorge Foreman grill. Now I'm pretty sure he had another son. Now I don't quite remember his name, but boy was he gorgeous. Being the naturalist she was, decided to come out here and plant the trees in the most natural way possible. Perfectly straight roads. Just like any good doctor, you cannot save them all. So coming up here on the left is our duck graveyard, where they may rust in pieces. Now on behalf of everyone here at the original Wisconsin Ducks, I'd like to thank you for coming out and riding my tour today. If you enjoyed my tour, then my name is Bergen. And if you didn't, then I guess my name is Lauren. And just as a reminder, when I pull into the chute, please remain seated. I'll go to the back of the duck, lower that red ramp down, and you folks are good to go.
And that was the original Wisconsin Ducks tour. And this is where the catastrophe happened in 2008. That drained the Lake Delton. Where I'm standing now were several vacation homes that got flooded out. We saw some of this in the duck tour. Speaking of ducks. And now it's been all fixed up. So basically, yeah, Lake Delton got flooded out. Went through here, wiped out all the trees, several homes, and went down into the Wisconsin River down that way. Built this little pier here called the Regal Pier. I remember this very well. Empty out the entire Lake Delton. The Tommy Bartlett Ski Sky and Stage Show was affected. They had to rebuild this highway and this whole area and then just wait for the lake to eventually fill back up again. And it drained very quickly, which was the craziest thing. But yep, that was the Lake Delton catastrophe. June 9th, 2008.